Isaiah took off the Dodge Journey, and his mom said, "Hey, hey, hey, back," and it just said, and yeah, and this is like real crazy, bro. Like every time he does it, every freaking time, bro. Like, bro, it's not even funny, bro. That's really kind of stuffy, icky, wookie. Like Isaiah. Isaiah's kind of a funny guy, but he just he's just a little stinker sometimes. And yeah, here and there, yeah, but he is a very, very stinky one. And yeah, and then he did some wild, crazy stuff. You like to know, bro. And trust me, it went on and went on, bro. He went on, pressed the brakes, and then Davian said, "He just getting pizza. He's just getting pizza," and yeah, and just went all crazy, bro. And then we went to this YMCA, and then that's the most crazy stuff, bro. Like, we went to a YMCA, and then this crazy part. This dude made me laugh. What he said, "Don't be around Dakota." And I said, "I don't give a freak." And then, and then I said, "Okay, I'll go to you, Isaiah." Then yeah, and then we get in the pool. He said, "Get back in the pool." And then I said, "Okay, let's get back in the pool, I guess." And then I said, "All right, why you want to go in the pool?" I said, and then he said, "You want to get in the pool and don't drown yourself?" And then I said, "Okay." And then I said, "You need a life jacket?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, I mean, who cares, Like, you need a life jacket?" And I said, "Yeah, I do need a life jacket because I don't want to drown in the pool." And then Isaiah said, "Oh yeah, you need a life jacket to like swim yourself." And I said, "Okay, then yeah." And I said, "Okay, I guess I need a life jacket." And I said, "Okay." And then hi, and then this crazy part was saying, "Oh, I took off my mom's car." And I said, "What? What, Isaiah? You took your mom's car without her permission? Like, for real? You gotta have to do that? Like, come on, bro." And then this crazy part, you really want to expect. Like, really, I'm doing great. I'm talking about my friend doing the stupid stunts. I'm gonna say, but the crazy part, he said, I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to take your vehicle." And then Mom said, "Why you take my vehicle without my permission?" And she was mad, like mad. I wish I would like literally record that stuff, bro, for real. And then I went to the YMCA. I said, "Where's Isaiah?" And then I got all nervous, and I said, "Should I go swim or what?" And I said, "Yeah, that's really scary." And I said, "I have these dots." And I said, should I get rid of these dots?" And I said, "Yeah, I should get rid of these dots." And then I said, "Oh, okay." So I said, I guess I'm gonna go out there and swim." And I said to myself, I said, "I like swimming. You should not be getting nervous." And I said, "Okay. You should not get nervous, Shane. Like, control your mind. You scared of the pool? Don't be scared of the pool, Like if you're scared of the pool, bro, like you're on a drowning trip, because no one's gonna save you. Like a lifeguard will, yeah, but If a lifeguard save you, then you be living forever, bro. Cause a lifesaver save your butt. No joke. And this type of stuff, this worries me. Like I said, here Isaiah, you want to take the warhead? And he said, yeah, this is sour. And I said, okay. I know it's like sour, but I said, you want to, hi, how are you doing? And I said, did you try that candy when you got home? I said, and he said, yes, I tried that candy at home. And he said, yeah, it's sour. And then I said, okay, that was not sour, but okay. Warhead is not that sour. And I said, it's just an automatic fizz. And I said to Isaiah, I said, it's just an automatic fizz. It is not that sour. Like, take it so serious. Like, you want to eat the warhead? Then go ahead. Don't be picky. Like, I'm just saying. But yeah, and then he said, and then he called me back, and I said, yes, Isaiah, you got any questions? And he said, yes, I like that candy. And I said, oh, you like that candy? And then he said, yes, I do like the candy. It's very yummy and it's kind of sour. And I said, okay. And then he said, yeah, again. And I said, okay, Isaiah, you're kind of tripping. And I said, you're very tripping. And I said, oh my gosh, why you eat the candy if you don't like it? Like, come on, be like that guy from the from the Sour King Drew. And I said, oh, and he said, okay, I will. And then and I said, you should. And then he said, okay, I will be the Sour King Drew because I like sour candy. And then he said, yeah. And then I said, okay, whatever. Whatever floats your boat, Isaiah. And then I said, would I like to subscribe to your channel? Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You used to eat warheads, okay. And then he said, call your homie. And I said, okay, I'll call my homie. And then my homie said, hey, you feeding my kid warheads? I said, hey, I don't want any dramas or issues. And I said, lady, calm down. You need to calm down. No one likes arguments. And I said to her, I said, no, I don't like drama. I don't like your attitude. Please calm down, lady. We will figure it out, lady. And then I said, okay. Why you had to get mad at me, bro? I didn't do nothing, bro. I take stuff on serious, like, bro. Like, I've been friends with Isaiah. Like, Isaiah said, oh, you talking back to my friend Shane. And then I said, Isaiah, don't fight. Don't fight. It's not risky to take you to jail. And I said to him, I said, it's not safe to fight. I know it's like dangerous out there, but don't ever fight out. You're gonna get yourself hurt and end up to the hospital, Isaiah. And I said, don't do it. It's not good. And then yeah, and he said, but why can't I fight? And I said, no. And I was like putting my hand behind his belly. I said, no, you should not fight. it's not safe, you know. And then he's like, like mad. I said, hey, calm down. I say, take a chill pill. And then he just end up like beating the flip out of the the boy teacher, like like beating him up. And I said, oh my gosh, Isaiah, you're gonna get in trouble by the principal. But this was like long time ago, like in the 1980s. But yeah, this is crazy stuff. I mean, I never seen my friend do that ever my entire life. Like Isaiah, chill, man. Stop getting mad at the world. Like if you're mad at the world, then get mad at yourself, Isaiah. Simple as that, you know. But if you want to do that, Isaiah, you're on your own, Isaiah. And then if Isaiah was at my house and I said, hey, was you fighting someone? And then he would say, yes, I fight someone because I got on my nerves. I had to fight so bad, it's not even funny. And I said, bro, you had to like fight someone for real? Isaiah, like, bro. And I said, do you really want to put your life in risk, Isaiah? And I said, and you want to show all your blood? I said, no, Isaiah, I don't want to see your blood. And I said to him, and I said, okay. And then I said to him, like, I like to see you try to punch the teacher, Isaiah. And he said, okay, bet. And then he needed to start punching the teacher again, and then the teacher had some blood all over its face, and then bruised eyes, broken teeth, you name it. And I swear it was disgusting, bro. Like disgusting. For real, it was disgusting. Like I almost gag just looking at it. But it was like really, really gross. I said, yeah, I'm staying away from Isaiah. He's a bad influence. And then Joseph come up to me and said, I'm gonna kick you in the face. I said, no, you ain't. You ain't kick me in the face. So I did is grabbed his shoes, and I stomped his shoes on the ground. I said, you better not kick me in the face. I mean, and I said to Joseph, but why not? And Joseph said, why not? Cause you can't kick me. I'm unstoppable. And if you wanna fight, go fight in the fighting ring. And go fight someone else. And then he said, and then he just start crying and blah blah blah. You name it. He started crying, like no wind, like like crying no wind. And I said, oh, what the fuck? And I said, what the fuck? And then I said, what the freak are you doing, bro? Like, got guns in your pocket, Joseph? And I said, yeah, I do. Little little rascal. Who you call him rascal? Joseph. And then Joseph said, I'll just call you rascal. And I was just scared. You know, I was freaking scared. Like, freaking scared. Like, help me, please. And then, oh yeah, it was like worse. But like, bruh. It was worse. I'm talking like fucked up shit, like right there. And I said, oh my gosh. Like, whoa. And I said, wow. And I said, whoa. And I said, wow. And I said, whoa. And I said, wow. And then I said, what the fuck? What are you doing, Isaiah? And Joseph? And I saw them two playing around in the pool. And I said, and then they were freaking splashing me like, and I got water in my eyes. And I said, oh my God, my eyes. Oh, my eyes. And I said, my eyes. Yeah? Do what? Do what? Do what? Do what? But yeah, it was like crazy stuff, you know? What? What? But it was like, yeah, but it was not like even funny, bro. Like, bro, it was not funny, bro. Very funny, bro. But it was like, it was alright, you know. Isaiah here and there. What? What do you want, stupid Sebastian? Gosh. Okay. But yeah, you know, I was a great warrior ever have met. Bodybuilder. You name it. What? I'm live streaming here. Thank you very much. Thank God. What? The fuck? What the fuck? Stop doing this shit, bro. What the flip you want? Hi. What the hell? But yeah, it was crazy stuff. What? Wait, what? The door open. Door open. What the fuck? What? The hell? Yeah. Yeah. Hell no. I ain't getting on with it. Fuck, bitch. What? Cover the swing. I'm live streaming. I'm live streaming. Yeah. Yeah, man. 0? Yeah. Huh? Here.
I know how to give you more viewers. Yeah, but don't put this in the video. Don't put this in the video.
It's not in the video. It's live streaming.
Who's Melissa?
Oh no.
I used to eat Warhead. Yeah, I got you one viewer.
Huh?
Hey, everyone, subtract him. Okay, hey, you can go now. Wait, can I say something?
Yes, say something.
Hey, before my mom and dad get here. Shane's gonna touch your dick. No.
Hell. What the hell? You are naughty. Yeah? Yeah? Whatever. Whatever. I have to take a shower after this. God, I'm fucking sweating. Oh shit. But yeah, here's crazy stuff. Put us in the video. I used to eat Warhead. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh what? Ah, weird ass shit. Weird ass 4L. Hell no. Don't touch your dick. Fuck, you weird as hell. Hi! Oh, hell no. In a fucking tank top? The hell? Yeah! No, she ain't. Oh. calling me? That audio is weird as hell, bro.
I want to shut your dick. Sure want to shut your dick.
Hell no, I don't. Fucking gross as hell. But yeah, you know, I been doing crazy shit. And I'm talking about shit after shit after shit after shit. And I'm fucking 20. And I can cuss. Okay? Capiche? Man, 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 man. Man, 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 man. Man, 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 man. Man, 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 man. Man, 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 man. I got the magic. Magic, magic, magic. Magic, magic. Magic, magic, magic. Magic, magic, magic.